Today marks the 6-month anniversary of the widest tornado in history. The 2.5-mile wide twister tore through Reno, Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City on May 31st.
Imagine a tornado nearly 3 miles wide, not the narrow funnels we're used to seeing, but a storm stretching from one end of the horizon to the other. Black, boiling, alive. On May 31st, 2013, just outside Reno, Oklahoma, that nightmare came alive. Farmhouses disappeared into it like sandcastles under waves. Highways were swallowed whole, cars lifted and spun like toys.
Oh my gosh! Debris! Debris!
It's coming up! That whole thing's coming up!
Oh my God!
Storm chasers, people who had tracked tornadoes for living, suddenly realized this one was beyond them. It was too wide to see in full, too fast to outrun. What began as a storm on the radar screen became a monster on the ground. An unstoppable force that dwarfed every tree, every silo, every living thing in its path. And in its chaos, it would go down as the largest tornado ever recorded. Late May 2013, central Oklahoma. The air hangs heavy with humidity, the kind that makes your skin stick. It's storm season, but this year, the tension feels different. Only 11 days ago, Moore was flattened by an EF5 tornado. Families are still rebuilding. Streets are filled with debris, plastic covers flapping like flags in the wind, and the memory of the devastation is still raw. Across the region, meteorologists track an atmosphere that refuses to settle. High-pressure systems clash with warm, moist air from the Gulf, spinning into patterns that forecasters know all too well. The National Weather Service issues high-risk warnings. Storm chasers, veteran and amateur alike, pack cameras, drones, and laptops into trucks. They roll toward the horizon, eyes glued to the radar, knowing that nature may show them something never recorded before. Meanwhile, life goes on, or at least it pretends to. Children sit in classrooms, pencils scratching notebooks, unaware of the invisible tension above. Parents run errands, groceries in the cart, smartphones checking the latest weather updates. Farmers inspect fields, corn and wheat bend in the wind, under a sun fighting to break through the clouds. The towns appear ordinary, peaceful even. Yet in every corner, there is a quiet, growing unease. By mid-morning, the forecasts grow sharper, more serious. The news flashes across televisions and phone alerts. This is a dangerous setup. Conditions are volatile. Stay alert. People glance at the sky, noticing clouds rolling faster than usual, darker, lower, twisted into long, curling fingers that point across the plains. Windows shake in the wind, small cracks echoing in houses still scarred from Moore. Even the animals are restless. Dogs whine, horses pace in paddocks, birds vanish from the sky. Storm chasers begin to whisper, not to alarm anyone, but because the data refuses to lie. The day may not resemble any tornado day before it. Radar signatures are unusual. Wind patterns shift wildly. A supercell could appear, then disappear immediately, reassembling something that defies typical forecasts. As noon approaches, the wind shifts, dramatically. Clouds roll in faster as though the sky itself is being pushed and pulled. Temperature drops slightly. Forecast models flicker and change, showing paths that twist back on themselves. Everyone senses it, even if they can't name it. This tornado won't behave like the ones they've seen. It will bend rules, break expectations, and in its path, it will be merciless. By late afternoon, streets empty gradually as people begin to take warnings seriously. Parents call schools, dragging children home or to basements. Storm chasers roll deeper into the open plains, heart rates rising. Windows shake with sudden winds. The air smells electric, charged with something larger than anyone has ever felt. But beneath it all, the atmosphere itself seems to hold its breath. A supercell could form at any moment, and central Oklahoma braces itself for what is coming, unaware that in just a few hours, the rules of tornadoes would be rewritten, and history would witness something unimaginable. May 31st, 2013. By mid-afternoon, the sky over central Oklahoma has shifted from light gray into a complete darkness. Clouds roll, twisting on themselves. The atmosphere feels alive, restless, as though something enormous is pushing against it from within. Warnings ring out across television screens, radios, and cell phones. The National Weather Service's tone is urgent, almost pleading. This is a life-threatening situation. Seek shelter immediately. At 6:03 p.m., the first funnel touches down west of El Reno. At first it appears thin, a rope of swirling dust dangling from the cloud. To the untrained eye, it looks manageable, maybe even ordinary for storm season. But radar tells a different story. Winds inside are already twisting with staggering speed. The funnel thickens. Within minutes, it balloons outward, swelling wider still, until it dwarfs the landscape. The El Reno tornado is born. From the ground, it is a nightmare made real. A dark wall materializes on the horizon, stretching nearly 2 miles across, swallowing fields and farmhouses. Debris lifts into the air, roof tiles, branches, entire rooftops, spinning crazy. The tornado doesn't move with the narrow, predictable path most Oklahomans expect. It shifts unpredictably, zigzagging, growing wider by the second. By the time storm chasers realize what's happening, the funnel is already the largest tornado ever recorded on Earth. In El Reno, families gather. Some hide in underground storm shelters, bathrooms, and closets. The smell of damp earth and fungus surrounding them as the sound of the wind grows louder. Others decide to leave the town, and soon highways fill with people rushing to leave town. In the town, chaos unfolds. Farmhouses vanish in seconds. Semi-trucks flip like toys. Fields are ripped apart, the soil itself lifted and scattered. Power lines collapse in sudden flashes. Sparks swallowed instantly by the swirling black wall. And still, the tornado grows. 2 miles, 2.5. Eventually, 2.6 miles wide, larger than Manhattan. Its winds howl at speeds nearing 300 miles per hour, yet the real danger is its behavior. It marches forward to the south, then east, then doubles back, swallowing roads people thought were safe. Highways turn into scenes of desperation. Cars jam Interstate 40 as families attempt to outrun the storm. Some make it, others don't. Vehicles are picked up, tossed hundreds of yards. Survivors describe the sound as deafening, like metal being torn apart in every direction, combined with the roar of 1,000 freight trains. In town, a woman clutches her elderly mother in a storm cellar, the walls trembling as though they might fall on them. For what feels like hours, they sit in total darkness. When the silence finally returns, the woman emerges to find her house gone, the street unrecognizable. Meanwhile, storm chasers, men and women who dedicate their lives to documenting these storms, are caught off guard. Many had chased tornadoes before, but none like this. The El Reno tornado's size makes it nearly impossible to see its true edges. What looks like harmless rain curtains are, in reality, part of the tornado itself. Experienced chasers suddenly find themselves inside its path. Vehicles are lifted and thrown. Cameras record until they shatter. Veteran chasers Tim Samaras, his son Paul, and colleague Carl Young lose their lives when the tornado suddenly pivots south, cutting off their escape. The loss sends shockwaves through the meteorological community. For years, they had studied storms to save others, and now the storm had claimed them. When silence finally comes, people climb out and find nothing but splinters where their homes had stood. A man steps barefoot onto broken glass, carrying his toddler in his arms, whispering, "It's okay," though nothing feels okay. In another town, a family who had fled in their pickup truck survives only because they abandoned the vehicle at the last moment, sprinting into a roadside ditch and pressing their faces into the muddy ground as debris rains down. The storm rages for 40 minutes, carving a path nearly 17 miles long. But its scale makes those minutes feel endless. By the time it lifts and dissipates into the sky, the damage is staggering. Crops are gone, livestock scattered or killed, homes erased. Power outages stretch across counties. Dozens are injured, and 8 lives are lost, including some of the most experienced storm chasers in the world. Yet survival stories ripple outward, told in voices shaking with both terror and gratitude. A farmer who tethered himself to a steel pipe in his barn and lived to tell of walls exploding around him. A young couple whose home was flattened, but who survived inside a closet, crawling out to find their wedding photos flying hundreds of yards away in a field. Each story is extraordinary, but together they reveal the same truth. Survival was not guaranteed. For many, it came down to seconds, to choices, to sheer luck. This was not just another storm. It is a storm that broke the rules, rewriting what scientists thought they knew about tornado behavior. And as night falls, one question remains across the plain. If a tornado this massive, this unpredictable, can strike here, what else is possible? Aftermath and response. When the El Reno tornado finally vanished, silence falls over central Oklahoma. It's disorientation. Roads are gone. Fields are stripped empty. Familiar landmarks have vanished, as if someone wiped parts of the map clean. First responders mobilize immediately, but even they are stunned. Police cars move through roads blocked by fallen wires and wrecked cars. Ambulances crawl where they can, and where they can't, medics go on foot, carrying gear through debris-strewn fields. The tornado's path is wide, confusing, and unlike anything they've ever seen. Entire areas are flattened, with no clear streets left to guide them. In El Reno itself, families wander through what had once been neighborhoods, looking for anything familiar. Some find only splinters of their homes. Others stumble upon family photos lying in fields, the only piece of a life that had been ripped away. The air is heavy with the smell of gasoline, wet soil, and smoke from electrical fires still burning in scattered ruins. Hospitals quickly fill with the injured. Broken bones, lacerations, head trauma. Doctors and nurses work without pause, stitching wounds and stabilizing patients. But it isn't just the volume of injuries that weighs on them, it's the knowledge that many never made it out of the storm at all. Storm chasers, normally the ones broadcasting dramatic footage of these tempests, are now part of the story. The deaths of Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Young send shock through the meteorological world. They were respected not only for their science, but for their caution. If the storm could take them, what chance did anyone else have? Their loss shows the tornado's unpredictability and the razor-thin line between studying a storm and being consumed by it. Meanwhile, the community responds in remarkable ways. Churches fling open their doors to shelter families who've lost everything. volunteers arrive with bottled water, hot meals, and blankets. Farmers lend tractors and chainsaws to clear blocked roads. Neighbors who had their own homes destroyed still help sift through rubble for others. In the middle of chaos, small acts of humanity shine brightest. A child handed a teddy bear, a family offered a place to sleep, a stranger helping carry remaining belongings out of the ruins. The National Weather Service and emergency management teams begin the grim work of assessing the scale. 8 lives lost, hundreds injured, millions of dollars in damage. But behind those numbers are stories, families ripped apart, homes erased, and a scar on the land that will take years to heal. In the years since, the El Reno tornado has become a case study, a storm both feared and revered. Not because of the sheer destruction it left behind, but because of how it rewrote the rules. At 2.6 miles wide, it was the largest tornado ever recorded. Its winds, measured at nearly 300 miles per hour, placed it among the strongest in history. Yet what truly confused scientists was its behavior. Sudden shifts in direction, bursts of speed, and a widening funnel that defied the models meant to predict it. For meteorologists, El Reno was a turning point. Data gathered that day from Doppler radar and storm chasers alike has fueled years of research. The storm exposed blind spots in forecasting, particularly in how tornadoes expand and change direction. It challenged assumptions about how warnings should be issued and how the public should respond. Even today, workshops and training sessions reference El Reno, not as a distant anomaly, but as a reminder of what storms are capable of when they refuse to follow the script. For the storm-chasing community, the losses cut deeper. Tim Samaras, his son Paul, and Carl Young weren't just chasers, they were innovators, educators, and symbols of a profession that balanced adrenaline with science. Their deaths marked the first time experienced chasers were killed in the field, sending shockwaves through a community that prided itself on skill and instinct. Since then, conversations about safety, responsibility, and purpose have grown rapidly. Some argue the chase culture has changed forever. Others insist it's only become more cautious, more aware of how quickly the line between observation and disaster can blur. For survivors, the legacy is personal. Families rebuilt homes, schools reopened, and businesses returned. But scars remain, emotional as much as physical. Many who lived through El Reno still speak of the sound, the pressure, the way the air itself seemed to shatter. Some never chased again. Others never left storm shelters without fear. The tornado didn't just rearrange the land, it reshaped the memories of those who endured it. Yet out of tragedy came resilience. Communities came together, researchers pressed harder, and new technologies emerged, from mobile radar systems to improved warning systems designed to save lives in future storms. The El Reno tornado became more than a disaster. It became a teacher. A brutal, unforgiving teacher, but one whose lessons continue to shape how we prepare for and understand nature's most violent moods. In the end, El Reno's story is not only about destruction. It's about uncertainty, about how little control humans have when the atmosphere decides to unleash its power. But it's also about the human response, about courage in the face of chaos, generosity in the wake of loss, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge in hopes that next time we'll be just a little more ready. The sky over Oklahoma has long been a canvas for storms. El Reno left its mark there, not just in the soil it scoured, but in the memory of a nation reminded, once again, that the most ordinary of days can give birth to the extraordinary.